Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to part 0 of the Map of the Year series 2022 with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very, very welcome. Yes, part 0 is effectively the preview show. These are the 4 maps that didn't quite make it into the final 12, and because of that I felt they had to be showcased, and where better than in a preview show to let you know that we have the Map of the Year series. It is up and running. I'll talk about this particular map in a moment. I'm going to start off by just explaining what the Map of the Year series is and how it works and how I chose them and what's to be expected. Well, we're using the same format as the last few years, where we're going to have 6 individual days of, I'm going to call them runner-up maps. Every map's a winner. Every map here is a winner. There are going to be 6 individual categories in no particular order. You'll have to see as they pop up on each day. The categories are going to be vanilla, fantasy, realistic, real life location, island and alternative biome. Finishing up on New Year's Day with a standalone category, which is basically the outright winner, and 1 special extra map as well, because there has to be a sort of like a runner-up, but it's not the runner-up. But it is, but it's not. You'll see what I mean. New Year's Day. Anyways, so we're gonna lead with 4 maps that didn't quite make the final cut. The first 2 you're going to see, I guess, are both fantasy. This one's fantasy because Zagira River by Zown is listed in the description as being what they call a fantasy map. I didn't consider this to be a fantasy map. I looked at this and it was shortlisted as a realistic map. While you could make an argument for fantasy on this, I don't see fantastical elements. You could build a fantasy city on pretty much any map. The second map up is also going to be a fantasy map, but definitely more so than this particular one. But this one is just absolutely glorious, and of the maps that you're going to see today, this one and probably the 4th one were the 2 closest to edging into the final selection. Any of these maps, they're going to be excellent, and I've got a real mix of them as well to keep you busy and occupied. This one has got a medium list of items, 9 trees and rocks. The rest of it is put together with the theme mix and a few mods like intersection marking tool, 81 tiles, 21 items in total, so it's not the world's longest list, and it's very nice. It's glorious, actually. Look at that. That is a beautiful design map. Zown, well worthy of being in the final shortlist there. Let's have a little look at my second selection. Now this one, 100% vanilla. So if you're running a potato of a computer, want to do a fantasy style map, well, this is a beauty. This one's all about design. This is all about design. It's playable. It's not my particular favourite map to want to have a go at playing. This is the thing, but it stands out. I've seen hundreds of maps this year, and of course I think we've reviewed about 4% of the workshop. I have seen I think it's over 2,000 maps I have opened one way or another since starting, and this is one of those that stands out. I saw it and I knew I wasn't going to forget it. Again, is it one I want to play personally? Not really, but nothing against Artifis or their work. It's a personal thing. I look at this though and I see something spectacular in terms of design and creativity. We've got this big buildable space down here. There's also a second buildable space up in the mountains, which we're going to see in a moment. But the mountain design as well, the mountain ridges that are going on here. When we get to the top-down view at the end of the flyover, you'll see what I mean. It is very neatly done. We've even got some mud flats as well where we started the flyover. And they just add something a bit different. And considering it's 100% vanilla, there is a limit to the amount of things that is actually possible. Whereas the previous map had a theme mix. In fact, the other 2 maps you're going to see today use the theme mixer as well. So this is the one that is the most ordinary, and it's still extraordinary. It's very well put together, and Artifis can take a little bow for this one. It wasn't going to make it into in terms of the top 2 for a fantasy map, and it wasn't going to make it into the top 2 in terms of being a vanilla map, but as a fantasy vanilla map, abso-blinking-lutely, it needs a category of its own, and I didn't want this one to just go into the ether and not be noticed. Very nicely designed map. I love it. I absolutely love it. Again, I won't play it, but I'm hoping that some of you will, and that is why I'm showcasing that one today. So yeah, Wisp Forest by Artifis. It's very, very nice, isn't it? Now, we've got 2 more maps coming along in a moment. Let me say that they both fall into a couple of different categories that you could argue both are island maps. Although the first one, which is coming up now, is too big really to be an island map. Honestly, if you're playing this vanilla base game rules, you're not going to notice island map. It's got coast all the way around the outside, but it's huge. It's huge, and we've got a huge amount of buildable space on this map as well. It's Montura by Beowulf22. Now, one other thing that with Beowulf22 that is notable, when I was putting my long list together through the course of the year, there were two creators that had 2 maps in the final shortlist. Now, one of my rules with the Map of the Year series is just so that it doesn't become, I don't know, the Sidai show, and basically Map of the Year series, 12 maps and 9 of them are Sidai. It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose. So one of my rules is the very first thing I do in the shortlisting process is I reduce the creators that have got 2 maps down to having 1 map each. Beowulf was one of 2 creators that had 2 maps on the final shortlist. There's not really much for me to choose between the 2 actually, both exceptional in different ways. What makes this one exceptional is we've got the design of the map. The design of the map, it's huge for an island map. It's got lots of different interesting buildable areas. We've got lots of different biomes in here as well. We've got a wetland area. We've got these Everglades style keys. No, not Everglades. We've got these keys along the side here. The wetlands is more like Everglades, you'll see. We've got some interesting lake areas. We've got some farm areas. We even have an elevated hilly area as well. It's a really interesting and clever design when you consider that this is Beowulf's first map. And that's the other category that the 2 maps that we're going to be looking at here both fall into. In fact, I was very close to having this one and the other one as a standalone category in the final selection. Problem was, it meant losing one of the other categories, and I couldn't. Of the other categories, they all stood out probably a little bit stronger than these 2, which is not surprising because these are first maps. Yet you look at this one, and this one's a little bit more simplistic, for want of a better phrase. The list on here as well is not that long. It's a bit of a list, it's not that long, but half of it is the roads, and of course the roads will all be sharing textures if you're using the loading screen mod, so it won't actually be too intensive on your PC. There is a theme mix that you have to put together in Theme Mixer, not a big problem, but that is a really nicely designed map, I have to say. But we're going to finish with the standout map on today's show in my mind. We led with it at the top of the show, and we'll use it as a thumbnail as well. This is a beauty. It's kind of, okay, the best praise I can give them is kind of a Bonbon Island clone, okay? Only it's not, because Bonbon Island, I tried to be clever. I think I did a good job with being clever, and they've done the simple thing, and they've taken the island and they've given it an outside connection. I don't see any problem with it. It doesn't have as much buildable space as the previous map because it's very hard to do more buildable space than the previous map. Previous map's got a lot of space. Here you've got the island with nice coastlines. This is definitely going to be a map for a detailer or for a high level player. You can play this one if you're not a high level player. If you want to have a go at doing a detailing build, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's a very pretty map to work with. Now, it is pretty intensive in terms of the one-click collection. It is. Having said that, a chunk of what's required are mods, and a lot of them are kind of obsolete over the course of the last 12 months. Mods that I was recommending right at the start of the year, saying that they are kind of going obsolete, but I still recommend them now. Well, they're not recommended anymore, and I'm going to have to do a new list in 2023. So there's a whole bunch of mods in there, things like Fine Road Tool, Fine Road Anarchy, absolutely beautiful mods. But we have moved on with the likes of Network Anarchy and so forth. And there's a whole bunch of little mods like that we are moving on with. So it is a little item heavy. Probably not one if you're running a potato here, but if you're a detailer with a PC capable of running a decent map, what you've got here is a very decent map, and it breaks my heart not to include it in the final 12, because again, this would work very nicely as in the realistic category, or in the like in the detailer category, or certainly in the island category. And yet, in all of those cases, we've got maps that I feel are stronger than this one. But that's no shame, because this is my first map. And yet, I look at this and I think, how is this? Even with it being my first map, how is this not in the final mix? I don't know. But this is why I do the preview show, so that maps that just don't quite make it for one reason or another, or I feel that really need to be showcased, can get showcased. So yes, that kind of sums it all up. Livi by Flimreh, absolute sexy little map there. Oh, wows. So anyway, what we'll be doing now is, we'll pull back and give you a full top-down view. And then we will, for the rest of this week, have one show a day. Each show will contain 2 maps, a runner-up in each category of those categories: the vanilla, fantasy, realistic, real-life location, island, and alternative biome. One on each day. We'll do a quick little flyover on each one. And then on New Year's Day, I'll reveal my map of the year for 2022 and show you something a little bit special. If you missed it, the runner-up map, the New Year's Day second map, you're not going to be playing it. You won't. You'll be playing the winner. You won't be playing the runner-up, but you need to see the runner-up. You need to see it. Absolutely. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great Christmas, and I'll see you very, very soon, i.e. tomorrow, with more Map of the Year. We've got the chart show. If I haven't uploaded it already, that's coming. And then, of course, the final What's map of the season. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.